I'm Greg. I'm your platform assistant today. I'm going to be kind of getting us going. I think we're going to have a great service. I was looking at some of the songs here that Terrell and Michelle are going to be performing, and a couple of these are definitely my favorites. And then Reverend Marilyn, her message is going to be looking for love. So, makes me think of a movie I saw one time, looking for love in all the wrong places. But I think we're looking, in the right place today. I'm going to go ahead and call Reverend Marilyn up to lead us in prayer.
So I just invite you to take a moment to get comfortable in your chairs, relax, close your eyes, and turn within, tapping into that presence that is God within. There is a power for good in this universe that is at our disposal to use. We call on it every minute of the day. And as we do so, we get answers, we get results, we get solutions to our problems. And that is the reason that we grow and learn. That is the reason we attend a church or attend a spiritual gathering of some sort, so that we, as ambassadors for that divine spirit, can be here, can be in the world to show the rest of the world what it's all about. I know right now in this group there is that presence, that power that flows through each of us. I am so delighted to be here, to be in your company and in your presence, to see that spirit flow from you. And as we move into this morning service, I know that we are blessed because we are a blessing. And I say thank you, Spirit, for all of the good that is here for us. And so it is. Amen.
And so I'm going to invite us now to be in a state of relaxation, to empty your lap if possible, to put your feet on the floor, to relax your body, specifically relax the area around your eyes, your mouth, your throat, your shoulders, your stomach, all these places that tend to tighten up. We are becoming open to receive the flow of God's highest vision for our lives, God's highest vision for our relationships, for our finances, for our homes, our families, our church. And in this state of openness, we simply allow the flow. We simply allow it. We breathe into it. There is no motivation, there is no agenda here. It's simply to allow the present moment to be exactly what it is. No more, no different, just what it is. And this is a practice of opening ourselves in this beautiful way to the flow of God. So I invite you to breathe into that flow right now and just allow it to be in this silence. And just take a deeper breath now that brings you back into the physical time and space. Grounded in such gratitude for this opportunity to simply be, to simply receive, to simply have this few moments with God alone, this tryst with God, feeling ourselves wrapped in the tender love and appreciation of God. This is a practice we can do anytime, anywhere, for a minute, 2 minutes, 20 minutes, however long we have. And it can lead into visioning. It can lead into prayer. It can lead into feelings of joy and peace. And when we allow it to be, so it is. Amen.
Looking for love. Well, everybody wouldn't say that we find what we're looking for the way we're looking for it. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, and there are some scenarios that may not be quite so happy. For some, maybe the flowers have already started to wilt. Maybe the candy is melting. Oh, and the sparkle, maybe that's gone too. Oh, well, easy come, easy go. Next. He said he would love me to the moon and back. Well, she said I was the one and only. Why did they lie? Why does love have to hurt so much? Oh, easy come, easy go. Next. That phrase that they use when you're going to be rejected. Oh, it's not you, it's me. Rings hollow when we get that rejection. It's so difficult for us to deal with because what we're looking for is affection, connection, resurrection, to be made whole again. Well, these are ways that the ego experiences love. Yes, we are humans with an ego, but I think sometimes we forget we're more than that. We are spiritual beings in a human shell. But sometimes we pull that shell so tight around ourselves, we close ourselves off. We can't have any affection. We can't make a connection. Certainly we have no experience of resurrection because we're pulled in our shell. Even a hermit crab has enough common sense to know when the shell's too tight to go looking for another one. You see them sometimes on the beach, and they'll go around and maybe they'll pick up a pretty little shell that they make their new home. Sometimes you even see them with a plastic cap on their back. What they're looking for is comfort. Comfortable is good, really good. Now, when it comes to humanity, Charles Fillmore said, humanity is the garden of God that is based in the soil of the divine presence of mind. So I interpret that to mean that we are the apple of God's eye. We're the flowers, the bushes, the trees that grow in that ever-present divine mind. Let's face it, baby, we're it. And that's what God sees. But somehow we keep forgetting that that's who we are. We get distracted. We get off track. I think sometimes some of us go back to that attitude that, oh, well, I'm not worthy. Well, yes, you are. You were born worthy. And nothing that you can do is going to change that. You have no perfection to attain to be worthy. You don't have to be at the top of the pile to be worthwhile. You don't have to have money or fame to make you worthy. You were born worthy. The problem is, somehow you don't see it. The rest of the world can see it. They see it in you all the time. My guess is you've got the telescope or the binoculars turned backwards, and you're seeing yourself through the wrong way. You see yourself as small, far away, maybe fuzzy. Well, if you turn that telescope or those binoculars around, you'll start to see yourself as you really are. You'll see yourself larger, closer, and clearer. And that's what God sees. God sees that in you all the time. And it's time for you to start seeing it as well. And as I said, the song was what kind of inspired a lot of the talk. There's a saying in New Thought or in Unity movements that what you're looking for, what you're seeking, is seeking you. So whatever you're looking for is looking back at you and wanting to see you. And the words of the song that Terrell sang, and Terrell and Michelle sang, what we're looking for comes from within. It's already planted there. It's God. What we're looking for has always been there. You were born with that in you. What we're looking for is looking out through our eyes. It's the love of our lives, who we are, and that's what we're looking for. Of course, we all seek love. We want to be loved. We want to find somebody that we can shower our love on. And when we get that attitude right, we kind of start to see how the law of attraction works. So in the law of attraction, the divine mind is always working. Your mind is always working. Even when you're sound asleep, your mind is working. It might bring you dreams. It might give you a solution to a problem you've been working on. It might just give you a review of the day and what happened earlier. But that mind is always awake. It never sleeps. One of the jobs of our mind actually is to give you the ability to discern how to approach a certain thing. Do I accept it and pull it towards me, or do I reject it and push it away? That's part of what the divine mind is trying to do. It's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to give you information so that you know how to respond. New person comes into your life. And sometimes we have that sense and we back away because we're not sure. We don't know what it is, but we know that we don't want to jump into it. And so we wait, and maybe later we find out we needed to wait, and now it's the right time. Or maybe we find out that situation was not for us. That person was not on our agenda. But we have to be listening, be open to what divine mind is telling us. Sometimes it says, jump in with both feet. This is perfect. It's right. It's exactly what you've been looking for. And it's been looking for you. So when we come to that place that we recognize how to approach a situation, a person, we know we can accept or reject. And I have to say my situation is no different. After 2 marriages and 2 divorces, I asked myself, okay, what are the odds that you're going to do this again with number 3 if you don't get your act together? So I started thinking about it. I wrote a list of all the qualities I wanted in number 3. And I had that list with values, personality traits, everything that I wanted. So I started looking around. It's like, oh, well, let's see. John? No, not quite right. Next. Sam? Sam's nice, but no. Next. Jasper? Oh, no, absolutely not. And then I thought, why would somebody who has all these wonderful qualities settle for who I was at the time? So I started thinking, okay, we got to do a little shifting here. We got to do a little changing. If I expect that to be attracted to me, if I'm attracted to it, why would that want me? So I did a little changing here and there, did a little more changing, and then I fell into the perfect book that made everything happen, called Illusions by Richard Bach. And in that book that changed my life, I found this quote. We're magnets. We're iron wrapped in copper wire. And whenever we want to magnetize ourselves, we can. And we can attract whatever we want to attract. We magnetize into our lives whatever we hold in our thought. Now, a magnet is not anxious about how it works. It is itself. And by its nature, it draws some things in and leaves others untouched. The law of attraction at work, so easy. So I'm assuming that as you grow in your self-awareness, at some point you will come to that. I am already divine love. That blueprint that is in me is just simply waiting to explode, waiting to construct itself, waiting to be what it wants to be in my life. So how do I go about moving that into my life? How do I go about pulling that in? And there are so many ways that we can do that. Now, the divine expression that is you is never affected by anything outside unless you bring that inside. So when I look at how to live a life, how to live my life, it is within me, the power is there. That same power is within each of you to do that for your lives. You can choose to live one way, you can choose to live another way. It's strictly up to you. There's a phrase that I've read over the years, and I've heard it was said by a dozen different people, and I found one quote, the same quote, by Abraham Lincoln. I thought, well, he's a trustworthy soul, so let's see what he has to say. And the expression is, people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Amen. Well, you know, it works two ways, because people are about as mean and cantankerous and miserable as they make up their minds to be as well. So let's put a spiritual twist on that. People are about as loving and kind and compassionate as they make up their minds to be. What have you made up your mind to be? What is it? Well, there was a speaker who was out on the speaking circuit, and what people didn't realize, he was really a scam artist. All he wanted was to cheat people out of their money. So when he would get up to speak, he would stomp up and down on the platform, and he would wave his arms around, and he would shout. And in the back of the room, this little quiet voice said, "High wind, big thunder, no rain." And is that how maybe people see us occasionally? High wind, big thunder, no rain. You know, we are not trying to hide behind a mask. We're not trying to cover ourselves up. And even if we do, even when we pretend that we're something that we're not, or we pretend not to be who we really are, that depth of spirit is within us. It doesn't go away. It's not going to leave. You just can't see it because they're trying to hide from it for whatever reason. And so as we move through life, we have this opportunity to express. And as I said, what choice are you making in your choice of words? Are you as happy or spiritual, or are you as grumpy as you want to be? You know, what is it you want? That's what we get to choose. And my question is this. Would you build a house without plans, a blueprint, and maybe a materials list? Who would build that house? Not a one of you. What about your lives? Isn't a life just as important as the home you put it in? So, what are you using to construct your life? What choices are you making? Where are you going with it? And that is the important part. Now, I often thought, wouldn't it be nice if there were a school that we could start our children in that would teach them how to live those lives of compassion and joy and you know, friendliness? Oh, wait a minute, there is one. Right here. Unity of Palm Harbor is all over the world, you know, the unity teachings, science of mind teachings, all of the lovely metaphysical teachings that give us the information we need to be that way. Unfortunately, we don't start out that way as children. You're lucky enough to find unity, and I'm glad that you did. But you think about it, seems like there's a generation that started complaining about their parents. And they didn't like the way their parents raised them. They thought their parents made mistakes. And then you go back and you think, well, maybe their parents made mistakes. Well, who knows, you know? How do you learn to do better? You learn to do better by following some of the teachings. Now, we have been exposed to a book called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. And that's what Reverend Annika has been teaching. Well, when she first introduced it to us, she talked to us, she said, there's a line. You want to be above the line. You don't want to be below the line. And somebody in the audience that day said, well, what is the line? And as soon as she said that question, I had this image in my mind. When I was about 8 years old, I lived in Daytona Beach, and we were down on the beach that day. I was out in the water, and the water was about up to here. And with the water there, suddenly my feet got pulled out from under me, and I was pulled in an undertow. And at that moment, I knew what the line was. Above the line means life. Below the line meant death. And you know, in the teachings that we're studying, it's kind of the same thing. Above the line means life. Below the line is not so hot. So to get above the line, we want to constantly look at our lives, constantly reassess who we are and what we're doing, where we're going, and why we're going there. Because when we do that, we have the opportunity to make a difference in this world. And the differences are that we maybe quit complaining about our parents. I had a son he wasn't particularly complaining about me as much as he was complaining about life. His favorite expression was, well, that's not fair. Sometimes life isn't fair. That's just the way it goes. But there is a way to cure that. And it's one big word. It's actually an F word. Forgiveness. Oh, you naughty people. So when we have forgiveness in our lives, what it allows us to do is to push the ego out of the way. That forgiveness comes into our hearts and releases a heart that is so full of pain it doesn't know what to do. And when we release that pain and we have that forgiveness in our life, we can start to see things a little bit differently. We can learn to love, and we can find love in every place we look. And when we do that, it means that we are moving forward in our life. Now, kind of right now is day after Valentine's Day. How many of you made New Year's resolutions? A few. How many are keeping their New Year's resolution? A few. But usually by this time, we've given up on our New Year's resolutions. Not because we didn't mean well, but because we didn't plan well. And, you know, in our life, if you've been out in the business world, you've probably heard it said, we have to have plans, we have to have smart plans and smart ideas and all that kind of stuff. We have to look at the outcomes. Well, that's true. We do want to have an intelligent way that we live our lives, that we plan, and when we're in business, a particular way that we go for something. We might have to find a mentor to help us or look for a partner in the business. But whatever it is, that's just one way. Now, what's the difference in having spiritual plans? A spiritual plan begins with what Mara's going to teach. A vision. When you have a vision and you commit to it, the universe will send you all the support you need. It'll bring people into your life. It'll bring opportunities into your life. It'll bring situations into your life you would have never seen without that vision. And so, as Mara said, she's going to do a visioning session on February the 28th, which is a Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. I'll be there. I expect to see you there as well. And because of that, we will be able to move this church in a way that it has not moved in many years. So I have a vision for Unity of Palm Harbor that actually came to me many years ago when I started here, and I realized I'm working on my 18th or 19th year here. So my vision is to see Unity of Palm Harbor having a healthy community spiritually, because when you're healthy spiritually, you will prosper and you will excel at everything you do. And please be there for the visiting session. Now, I close with my commitment to you as the board president, and this comes from my Girl Scout days. I promise on my honor to be here for you, to work for you, to work with you, to listen to you, and to help you in whatever way you need it. And so it is. Namaste.